Jazz Journal is brought to you in part by Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything. By Geneva Steel, becoming America's cleanest steel maker. And by your Utah Dodge dealers. Drop by and drive the new Avenger.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to Jazz Journal. We've got an exciting show lined up for you tonight, including a look at the new Jazz magazine, Home Court. We'll show you an NBA mascot who learned his trade right here in Utah. And no, it's not Bear. And Rob Howell has the touching story of a young lady who overcame a life-threatening accident to become a jazz dancer. All that and more coming up later in the show. But first, the 1995-96 Jazz season officially got underway Friday night with a home game against the Seattle Supersonics. Rob recaps the festivities of that evening.
Opening night at the Delta Center. Where else would you want to be on a Friday night? Bear, the Jazz mascot, arrives in style. Outside in his new van, and inside on a Harley. The Sonics are styling too, sporting their new look as the NBA season gets underway. But it's the Jazz who are looking good, especially in the second quarter as they reel off 20 straight points to build a 17-point lead. John Stockton hits back-to-back three-pointers and then finds Adam Keefe streaking down the lane.
I think second quarter guys really passed the ball around and really ran the floor. We did a lot of things. That's probably the best I've seen us execute in a stretch, especially this early.
Karl Malone seals the run with a follow slam. And another Stockton tray gives the Jazz a 61-43 lead at the half. In the third quarter, the mailman goes to work, scoring 12 consecutive points on his way to a game-high 26. Jeff Hornacek hits 7 of his 8 shots for 19 points. And Adam Keefe slammed in 16 more to go with his 9 rebounds. The game is never close as the Jazz run away from Seattle 112-94.
I thought our guys played pretty well for the first game, start off the season. We got a little bit short-handed with our big people, but I thought our other people came in and did a nice job.
As for the newcomers, Chris Morris finished with 11 points. And Greg Ostertag chipped in 7 points and 7 rebounds.
I think the new guys really did a good job for us. It's the first game, but guys came out and they played hard. And sometimes, you know, things not going to be there for you. You know, the offense not going to be there and things like that. But the defense is part of playing hard. And anytime you do that, you're going to have a good chance on winning ball game.
Chris was, again, he's trying to do so much, and he's going to take a while to adjust. He's trying to help and be everything for everybody, as new teammates often try to do. But he was very good for us. Greg Ostertag was good. Showed a little anger in there, which was good to see. And I don't know. I think there was positive things from just about everybody out there, but there's an awful lot of things everybody can do better still.
Rob Howell reporting for Jazz Journal.
An exciting night in the Delta Center, and it's sure to be an exciting year ahead. It should be interesting to see how the newcomers to the Jazz fit in as the season unfolds. You know, there are many new faces in new places around the league. Here's a quick rundown. The Cleveland Cavaliers traded in their hot rod, sending center John Williams to Phoenix. In return, the Suns gave up a fan favorite, Thunder Dan Marley. The Cavs also sent guard Mark Price to the Bullets.
I'm going to have to come in and learn guys, you know, trades, their habits, where they like the ball, where they're good with the ball, and where they're not, and I won't give it to them where they're not good.
And one guy who will be on the other end of those passes is rookie center Rasheed Wallace.
My debut.
Meanwhile, Dennis Rodman departs San Antonio, bringing his rebounding and his weird hairdos to the Chicago Bulls. And a former Bull, B.J. Armstrong, lands with the Golden State Warriors, where he'll team up with the league's top draft pick, Joe Smith.
We're trying to put last year behind us because we, like you said, we have new administration, have new coaches, and we basically, you know, trying to start fresh.
Needing outside shooting, the Seattle Supersonics acquire Hersey Hawkins in exchange for Kendall Gill, who rejoins his former team, the Charlotte Hornets. Another player returning to his old stomping grounds is Spud Webb, traded back to the Atlanta Hawks.
Bob and Rivers.
Meanwhile, All-Star Dana Barros returns to his hometown, signing with the Celtics. In New York, the Knicks bring in a veteran coach in Don Nelson, who will try to lead a team of veteran players on one more push for the championship.
Coach Nelson is an experienced coach. We have an experienced basketball team, so with those two things, I think it's going to be a good mix.
The man Nelly replaces, Pat Riley, heads south, hoping to bring his winning ways to the Miami Heat. But the team to beat once again is the defending champion Houston Rockets. They're ready to chase their third straight NBA title.
We got our work cut out for us this year. Hopefully we can have the same chemistry we had last season and hopefully do the same thing.
All right, did you catch all those moves? Because there will be a quiz later in the season. When Jazz Journal continues, one of life's many miracles.
It's such a miracle that I'm even here and that I'm even dancing and have the ability to dance right now.
And welcome back to Jazz Journal. You know, we all take many things for granted each day. And often it's not until tragedy strikes that we begin to appreciate the most important things in life. Rob Howell has the story of a courageous young woman who didn't let anything stand in the way of her dream.
Brandy Kirkman has always loved to dance. Ever since she was a little girl, it was her dream to become a professional dancer. But on the morning of January 22nd, 1992, her dream turned into a nightmare.
Received a phone call that said, your daughter's been in an accident. Actually, it was my other daughter said, Mom, I've got somebody on the phone. Brandy's been in an accident. And they said she might not live. You need to hurry and get to the hospital. It was devastating. The weather was really bad. It was really foggy and really slippery. The ice was bad. And I went to make a turn and saw it a little late because of the fog. And I slid and my car hit one of those big metal light poles that holds up the stoplights. And the engine came through and went through my legs. When you walk in and see your child covered from head to toe with blood, it never leaves you and you don't ever want to see it again. But the engine had come through and taken part of her leg off, and so her leg was filleted wide open as if they had just taken a piece of meat and opened it. And they were pulling pieces of the dashboard out of her leg, about this big, just with no anesthetic. They couldn't give her anything for pain because she had head injuries.
Brandy's injuries were extensive. A torn meniscus, a broken nose, and facial damage that required plastic surgery. And the trauma to her legs was so severe, the doctors were talking of amputation.
Dancing was my life. It was everything to me. I just was going to go on and be a professional dancer somewhere and do something, and all of a sudden, oh no, there's a possibility that I may never walk again and that I may never dance again. And it just grabs at your heart because you're thinking, what am I going to do with myself? My whole life was planned. I was going to dance. My whole life was dance. And now all of a sudden, what am I going to do? After much consideration and much thought, I thought, you know, I can prove them wrong. I can dance again, and I will dance again.
Through 2 years of physical therapy, Brandy never gave up on her dream. And each time she performs at a jazz game, she considers the miracle of her life.
Yes, quite a miracle, because I really was not supposed to live through that car accident. And it's such a miracle that I'm even here and that I'm even dancing and have the ability to dance right now.
And among the 20,000 fans watching her dance, there is always one cheering a bit louder than the rest.
I am so proud of her, and not less proud of any of my other children, but she's just had to overcome a huge obstacle, and she's done it very well. I love you.
That's a nice story. You know, many of today's NBA rookies have no idea of the kinds of obstacles and pressures that they'll face during the grueling 82-game season. So, the league office came up with a plan to help ease that transition.
Young, new, fresh.
It means you carry a lot of bags.
Just you're the bottom of the ladder again. You got to work your way back up.
About 65 of the league's rookies gathered in Orlando for an intensive 4-day course on how to adjust to life in the NBA.
What we try and let them know is that there isn't anything new under the sun, okay? You guys are going to be going through what players went through many, many years ago. Current players as well as former players involved in the program to tell players from their perspective just what has happened and what's going to happen to them and what they need to be prepared for.
In one class, professional actors and actresses joined the players in skits. They reenacted some of the problems rookies can face off the court.
I don't know what happened between y'all, but, hey, I apologize for it. I'm not here to start any trouble.
We try to simulate, inform, educate, and acquaint them to the different situations of stress and decision-making circumstances that they're going to find themselves in.
Yeah. A lot of serious, mature stuff, that, a lot of people my age don't get to experience. So I'm just sitting back enjoying it all.
There was also a panel discussion with advice on dealing with the media. That's got to be some good advice. If you ask any NBA coach, he'll tell you how important the home court advantage is. Well, as Rob Howell tells us, you can have the home court advantage every night, right in your own living room.
It's called Home Court, the official magazine of the Utah Jazz. It's an in-house production headed by the Jazz Public Relations Department, sort of a magazine version of Jazz Journal.
We wanted to appeal to as many people as possible, so we're going to have behind-the-scenes look at players and coaches and even staff. 8 pages every issue will be devoted to kids to kind of highlight some of the stuff we're doing with kids or for kids with Junior Jazz and things like that. We'll have a column from people like Frank Layden giving his points of view on various issues. So I think we'll have things that will appeal to just about everybody, Jazz fans especially.
There will be 12 issues annually of Home Court, 10 during the basketball season and 2 more during the summer. It's an ambitious undertaking, especially when those involved in the effort consider themselves rookies at this sort of thing.
You're right. None of us here have ever been involved in producing a magazine, so we are kind of starting from ground zero here. But we invested in a bunch of equipment that makes it possible for us to lay out and produce the thing here short of printing it. Our PR department signs the stories, hires writers, gets the information together, and then once that comes in, we collect photos, hire photographers to take pictures, and then just put it all together and send it off to the printer.
Once all the stories are written and the layout is complete, it all comes here to be printed into the final copy of Home Court magazine. 70,000 times. That's a lot of copies.
It is. They've got a lot of commitment here. They're really excited about it, and I think the community will take it real well.
It's a pretty big task to produce a magazine, especially one of this quality that we want to produce. We want it to be national quality, like the Time magazine or Sports Illustrated. It's a big challenge for us, but I think that the fans will like it, and it's been a lot of fun for us to put together.
Rob Howell with another entry in the Jazz Journal.
Now, if you'd like to receive your own copy of Home Court magazine, all you have to do is call this number, 1-800-877-JAZZ. That's 1-800-877-5299. And if you subscribe now, you'll also receive 2 free tickets to an upcoming Jazz game. When Jazz Journal returns, the perils of being an NBA mascot.
TCI, quality entertainment my family depends on. TCI Cablevision, the best now playing.
And welcome back to Jazz Journal. You know, in the competitive world of professional sports, being a mascot has become increasingly more dangerous. There have been a rash of mascot injuries over the past few months. The most recent incident involving Rocky the mountain lion. While attempting a somersault dunk during an exhibition game at McNichols Arena, the Denver Nugget mascot lost his bearings in midair and, as you see, landed off the safety mat. Rocky sustained back and neck injuries that will keep him sidelined for at least the next 6 weeks. It takes a unique individual to be a successful mascot in the NBA, and Rocky the Mountain Lion is among the best. Rocky has deep roots here in the state of Utah.
For the man inside this costume, being Rocky the Mountain Lion is a culmination of a lifelong dream.
Starting in high school, when I was the mascot there, I was a wolf, and then I saw the San Diego chicken and told myself, hey, I got to do that. I got to do that for a living. I got to get paid to play like that guy.
His name is Ken Solomon, and while we can't show you his face, his act should be well known to Utah sports fans. You see, before he became Rocky, the mascot for the Denver Nuggets, Ken was Big Blue, mascot for Utah State University.
Utah State was such a blast. It was so much fun. That crowd was just incredible, and I really miss it. It's so different. You've got such a different crowd. It's no more of the school spirit type of thing. It's people in ties sitting in the crowd, and they paid big bucks, so it's time to entertain.
As Big Blue, Ken was always a fan favorite at USU football and basketball games, and it wasn't long before an opportunity for a professional career presented itself. But when the NBA came calling, it was a difficult decision for Ken to leave Aggie land.
It really was. I asked my dad. He's a real stickler on education, and he was always saying, stay in school, go back to school, whatever. And he finally said, hey, what do you go to college for? To get a career. He says, you've done this every year in college. You've prepared yourself, you've got experience, you've done it all to prepare yourself for that position. Take it. If you don't like it in a year, go back.
So Ken traded in his Big Blue outfit to become Rocky the Mountain Lion. But he says just putting on a costume doesn't make you a good mascot.
To be a good mascot, really, you have to be multi-dimensional. You cannot just dunk. You cannot just go out and do comedy. You have to be able to build a relationship with every person in that arena and make them realize that you have a personality.
That's not a problem for Ken, whose alter ego comes out when the costume goes on.
This may sound weird. When I started doing this, I would put the costume on. And this is years ago. I'd put the costume on, and I could feel myself changing, my heart rate going up a little bit, that type of thing, to where by the time I put the head on, I was somebody totally different. And the big joke around the office sometimes is how quiet I am out of the costume, and what kind of a different person I am when I'm in that costume. And it allows me to have a different personality, and that's what's fun. A lot of people miss out on that. A lot of people in life would love to do that just for that simple reason.
So Ken is living out that childhood dream, and both he and the fans are loving every minute of it.
I love it. Best job in the world.
Rob Howell with another entry in the Jazz Journal.
Well, we wish Rocky a speedy recovery. The good news is, this quarter he can take some correspondence courses while he recuperates and work on that degree. Time now for our weekly trivia contest. This year's contest, sponsored by the Pro Image, and our winner each week will receive a $25 gift certificate, good at any Jazz-owned Pro Image store. Here's this week's question. What number does Bear, the Jazz mascot, wear on his Jazz jersey? If you think you know the answer, write to us at Pro Image Trivia Contest in care of Jazz Journal, 5181 Amelia Earhart Drive, Salt Lake City, 84116, or you can fax us your answer, 238-6346. Be sure to include your name and address in case you're a winner. And remember, to be eligible for the prize, we have to receive your entry no later than Wednesday of each week. Good luck. Jazz Journal continues in just a moment. The regular season is well underway, and it's a busy couple of weeks coming up on the Jazz schedule. To fill you in on the wheres and whens, here's Reggie Jukes.
Tonight, the Jazz are in Portland to take on the Trailblazers in their brand new arena, the Rose Garden. The game can be seen on Prime Sports at 6 o'clock. The Jazz then return to the Delta Center for a week at home, beginning with the Atlanta Hawks on Monday. Spud Webb is back with the team he won the slam dunk title with. Tip-off is at 7 o'clock Monday night. Wednesday night, it's the Los Angeles Lakers coming to town. Budding superstar Nick Van Exel is at the helm of the Lake Show and has LA thinking title run. The showdown is set for 7 o'clock at the Delta Center. On Friday, the Jazz welcome Dikembe Mutombo and the Denver Nuggets. There's no TV on this or any of the home games next week. You will, however, be able to see the Jazz as they take on the Knicks Sunday at Madison Square Garden. The game airs right here on KJazz 14 with our pregame show Jazz Tonight starting at 3:30. Because of our coverage of the New York game, Jazz Journal will not be seen next week, but will return the following Sunday at its usual time. No rest for the weary as Utah plays again the next day, heading north of the border to take on the Toronto Raptors. It's the first time these two teams will meet, and you can see that historic game on Prime Sports. Jazz Tonight begins at 4:30. November 15th has the Jazz in Boston playing the Celtics at the new Fleet Center. This game, too, can be seen on Prime Sports. Jazz Tonight starts at 5 o'clock. On Friday, November 17th, the Jazz hit Motown for a matchup with the Detroit Pistons. TNT is airing the game. Tip-off is set for 6 o'clock Mountain Time. The Jazz finish up the road trip in Minnesota with their 5th game in 7 days. Our coverage on Prime Sports begins with Jazz Tonight at 5:30.
And we'd like to welcome Reggie to our Jazz Journal staff. You'll be hearing more from her in the coming weeks. And that's going to do it for this week's program. As we leave you tonight, we leave you with some highlights of mascots and dancers from around the NBA. Good night, everybody.
Jazz Journal has been brought to you in part by Eagle Hardware and Garden. More of everything. By Geneva Steel, becoming America's cleanest steel maker. And by your Utah Dodge dealers. Drop by and drive the new Avenger.